when Boyd dug here, it was 1949. He didn't, radiocarbon dating was just coming online at that point.
Right.
So he couldn't even date anything. And he made some guesstimates of the ages, and it wasn't that far off.
They were good
for what he had at the time to work with.
Yeah.
But you came here thinking that there might be a chance that there would be older material, and you found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you rank Head Smashed In, sort of, in terms of the Northern Plains archaeological sites and its importance?
Well, I still say it's just like the UNESCO designation. It's of the known buffalo jumps, this is the largest, best preserved, oldest, longest used one that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, there are or were other large buffalo jumps. Like, for example, there was one on Highwood, Montana, and I've been there. But they built a spur line for the Burlington Railroad so they could mine it for bone, and it's just totally gone. The Almpishkin, which is a state park west of Great Falls, it was bone mine potted and badly abused. Yeah. It was a good sized jump, but obviously from the excavations that were done there by Montana State, it certainly did not have the depth that this one did. It has the use record going back to well, from where they dug, I have to qualify that, to about 1,500 years. It's got the late stuff, but not the early. The earlier stuff isn't there.
Yeah.
It's not there. So, and the ones, so, here, Gull Lake, in Saskatchewan.
It's certainly a massive site,
Yeah, we got these, all the ones along the Porcupine Hills, we have some more work to do.
Yeah.
I'd say the one that should be quite comparable to this, or would have been, is Ghost Pound, or it's called Boneyard Coulee, west of Stavely. And certainly the collections I saw that came out of there from the local collectors, there are a lot of Avonlea in it, and the gathering basin has not been looked at.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to this basin. And of course it has, just like this one, a very strong, oral tradition associated with that. Yeah.
Would you, so in the sort of scheme of things, Head Smashed In still stands out to you. Like we're now looking back after 20 years of the opening of the Interpretive Center, which was itself 20 years after your major excavations here. You think this site deserves all the acclaim and
for sure,
the credit that it's received?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a great monument to the ingenuity of the Piikani people and First Nations in general.
Somebody the other day used the term icon. I think Reg did in his talking to Reg Crowshoe, and I hadn't thought of it in that sense, but I could see from probably a native perspective and I think a non-native perspective, the people who were familiar with it, it's become kind of an icon. Probably, I wouldn't say it was 20 years ago, but I think it's become that now in a sense. A place people look to as a sort of a model of how we can help preserve the past and interpret it at the same time.
Yeah, and provide a different and very positive message on natives.
Yeah. By
having the native staff here, the ability to interact with the visitors from all over the world, not only Alberta. Because this is such a positive image, and you guys have done such a good job in involving the Piikani and the Kainaiwa in the operations of it and everything. It's a real positive message.
That's really something they've stuck with since opening day. Is you can't, of course, you can't say we're only going to hire Aboriginal people. That's against the hiring practices. But what you can do is you can require certain skills that you want your workers to have. So if you ask for things like knowledge of the Blackfoot culture, knowledge of Blackfoot language, ability to speak some Blackfoot language and understand it, that's going to weed out a lot of people, and you end up with pretty much close to 100% Aboriginal staff.
Yeah.
And I think that served this place really well, because in many cases, as you say, it's international visitors, it's people coming from around the world, and they're seeing Native people for the first time. Many of them. All I've seen before is stereotypes, Hollywood movies and things like that. So great
Calgary
experience.
Stampede, whatever.
And I think there's a great benefit to having Native people tell the story of the buffalo.
Oh yeah, it is.
I could stand in there and do it, but it lacks a certain connection that I'll never have. And I think it's I don't want to do it. It's their job to do that. They're the ones who should be doing it. Thanks, Barney. Really appreciate you coming out here. It's been great to reminisce a bit.